Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we are really excited today. We are here to talk about the eighth weekend of Hallmark movies. It's wild. I can't believe we're nearing the finish line. I can hardly believe it. I am film critic Rachel Wagner. Terry's here.
Hi.
Can you believe it? We're almost done.
I can't. It flew by. I mean, you're covering every week, but it flew by to me.
Yeah,
I feel like it
it's
just started,
wild. Yeah,
and I'm
I know
so
it's
far
true.
behind.
How do you feel the season has been in general, in your opinion, for
Uh,
Hallmark?
I feel the season's been okay. Nothing too terrible. Just a lot of unmemorable stuff, like very watchable stuff, but I'm not gonna remember it. And uh it's not a memorable season to say that, but there have been some standouts.
Yeah, I
Two for
I
me.
basically agree. There hasn't been very much that I've like hated that's been
Yeah,
awful.
same.
But I would say one of the ones that we're going to talk about today was a
Oh yeah.
standout and definitely a big
Complete.
surprise. So that's always fun.
I know. I can't wait till we get to that part because I
Yeah.
I have a mini rant for
Oh.
Hallmark.
Oh, okay,
No, not
good,
about the
good.
movie, just the way Hallmark is in general this year promoting their countdown
Yeah.
to Christmas
Uh,
lineup. They just don't care.
it's
There's no effort to any of the movies save for one really.
yeah,
And
except for the Chiefs one. That's the only one that I
it's
think,
the only one. It's like, oh, we've got an audience. They'll be
yeah.
there. And the
Even
ratings are slightly lower, but
yeah.
people are cutting cable and people are watching other ways. They're watching through
Yeah.
Peacock. They're watching
Even
through,
Three Wiser Men, I felt like
yeah,
was kind of underplayed. It wasn't
they
that
did.
marketed
Yeah,
that much.
they didn't, especially because the OG was original. And they have extended cuts of that movie and the Chiefs movie coming down too that nobody knows unless you saw it on the schedule.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah, once
I
they
didn't
finish
know.
airing all of the movies, that because we've got what, four, at least four more on Hallmark proper, right?
Yeah, I
And
mean
then
it's
that week, that Christmas week, they're airing an extended version of The Chiefs. I think it's on the 22nd, and of The Three Wiser Men. So we're gonna get
yeah,
like extra 15 minutes probably,
it's
which
kind of
I
like
I will rewatch them and not know what's new because that happens to me every time.
well, I mean, I think it's ironic that probably the most talked about Hallmark movie this season was Hot Frosty, which isn't actually a Hallmark movie.
No. And
But the average
and
person
for
probably
the
thinks
average
that,
person, it's
you know.
true because it had the gimmick and it had Lacey in it. That's another thing too. They barely promoted
The
Lacey
Christmas class.
Chabert's
You're right.
movie,
You're right. They did. That's very
and it's
true.
just so they went all out for this Chiefs movie, and I liked it, but it's not the best thing they aired this year.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Anyway,
I
well, we
don't
have
understand.
three
Anyway,
pretty interesting ones to talk about
yes.
today. And let's start with A Dance in the Snow. And this stars, and this is directed by Stefan Scaini and writers Emily Schmidt and Ryan Smith. And it stars Erica Sarah and Mark Giannini and Vanessa Burgart. Melanie's 17-year-old daughter, Jenny, is a senior in high school and looking forward to college. After a bad experience her junior year, Jenny is not interested in attending her final Christmas dance before graduating. It's to surprise Jenny by getting involved in the school's planning committee to create a welcoming dance for all students. Meanwhile, Jenny and her friends secretly plan their own party in part to honor Melanie. Melanie works with Jenny's literature teacher on the dance and starts to fall for him while Jenny develops something special with a new classmate at school. When their secrets snowball, however, their plans begin to drive a wedge between the usually tight-knit mother and daughter at the holidays. So overall, what do you think about this one?
I thought this one was sweet. I thought
Yeah.
it had its heart in the right place. It was sweet. I love the mother and daughter relationship. There is no dance in the snow, but there's a reason for that title. But if you took it literally, no. Which that made me laugh. But I didn't need the romance in the movie. I thought it was strong enough just being about the mother and daughter and their relationship. But it's very sweet how they both were doing something for each other. Both was trying to do the party and making Christmas nice for each other. It was, and they didn't overplay it. A lot of times when you watch these movies with autistic characters, they tend to go big, and they tend to, which was also a point in the movie that, people have expectations. And I thought they played it very well, and it
Yeah.
was touching. It was sweet.
I really enjoyed it too. It was a lot better
Yeah.
than I expected. So maybe low expectations helped.
Yeah.
But I agree. I didn't really need the romance. I thought it was
No.
pleasant enough, but
Yeah, it was an
the
added bonus.
I liked the romance for the daughter almost better.
Oh yes, that was so sweet, between
Yeah,
the two kids like coming together and helping each other out. I thought that was very sweet.
it was
And and
very,
it's like mom's worried, mom trying to let go, trying to make it good for her daughter, because she's
uh-huh.
growing up.
But like
And
her worry was reasonable. Like the
absolutely, it was
concern
absolutely reasonable. Yeah.
about her daughter and her daughter going away to school and being far away, and like as opposed to that Open by Christmas where Erica Durance is all upset about her son not wanting to get his picture taken with Santa Claus. That's not
I mean,
reasonable. That's not a reasonable worry. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
no, I
it's
agree.
so sometimes these overbearing moms can just be like so
Yeah.
rating.
And she was
And
not overbearing in this movie.
no,
No, it
like
was,
her concerns were like
yeah.
I think pretty reasonable.
And they both didn't know that they were trying to achieve the same goal. She's trying to start her own party. She's trying to make it nice for her mom.
Yeah,
So they both had solid, reasonable reasons for what they were doing.
yeah. I mean, if you want a good contrast, even just from this year, if you look at that, the first of the Unwrapping Christmas movies, where the the there's a character that's supposed to a teenager that's supposed to have dyslexia, but it's obviously autism, not dyslexia, and the way it's portrayed is just so bad. It's so
Yeah, I have
yeah,
yet to
it's
watch The Unwrapping. I'm
terrible.
binging it this weekend, and
Uh, like
wish me luck,
they
guys.
get better. They do. I think the third and the fourth are like significantly better than the first two.
All right,
But
Rachel, better than The Love Club?
I never watched The Love Club.
You're all right. You're fine. I still haven't recovered.
Yeah,
I'm getting
they
to it. I'm so behind, Rachel.
those first two are pretty not great,
Yeah,
especially that first one. But anyway, I'm just saying like this can be portrayed really terribly,
exactly. I was worried about that because they can go so over the top sometimes
yeah.
in portraying autistic characters. I don't know why.
Well, and you don't want the autistic character to be like basically a manic pixie dream girl, you know?
Exactly. Because I
It's
thought this was the closest realistic portrayal that we got. And for people who, because there's so many
yeah.
various degrees of autism out there that one can
Yeah.
have. We
Yeah.
have very severe, very mild, and I thought this was, you know, uh, obviously not very, she wasn't very severely autistic in this movie. But I was like, this is the closest, like, good, really solid,
Yeah.
decent representation that we've had.
Yeah, I agree. Like she was able to manage
Yeah.
and thrive it with her autism, but it definitely was something that was challenging.
Exactly, because I know a couple of people with various degrees, and I'm always like they never really portray it right, and I don't think it's a hard thing to portray, but like the tendency to go big, they just can't.
Yeah.
They did not go big here. They went like,
Yeah.
no, we're gonna. I wish. I think this might be my favorite of the miracles so far, or the ones on Hallmark Mystery, is because it was just. I love how it was family oriented and sweet, and I think this might be my favorite of those
Yeah.
that have aired this year.
Let me see.
I have to take like a quick look because I know we haven't had that many, but I love the mother-daughter relationship. And I think he
Yeah,
was
me
better
too.
in this. I can't remember the actress Mark, uh, the who played the principal.
Yeah, it's my
He,
favorite as well.
yeah, so he was so much better in this Christmas movie than the one he did last year for Hallmark, where he was what's that one he did with Kimberly Sestad,
Oh
where he
yeah, that
crashed
one
on a
was I didn't like that
motorcycle.
one. I didn't like
Yeah,
that
I just
one.
thought I was like, oh, he's much better here. He's a much like a more likable character, and he was very That was also a very sweet,
Hmm.
like bonding or adult love story.
Yeah, this is the
Too.
best of his. I'm just looking at his filmography. This is the best of his movies. He was
Yeah.
sweet and, filled that role of like the inspirational teacher, I think, pretty well. You start out with him reading Robert Frost, The Road Less
Yeah, right.
Traveled By. And
And yeah, and they paired off really good together as well. And like there's no huge misunderstandings. There's no like, oh no, it's
uh,
just regular. Nobody eavesdropped or watched something from around the corner and misunderstood. So,
so she
yeah.
gets overwhelmed at the school dance, the
Mm,
music, the crowds, other things like that. And so that's kind of our, and then we get a year later, and she is like uncomfortable about going to the dance, wanting to go to the dance, but she also really wants to go to California for school. And I forget where they said this is taking place, but
I can't
it's far
remember
away
either.
from California.
It is. And she
So
also doesn't like the snow. She's afraid of it.
yeah, afraid
From
of
when she was
snow.
a child, like being in a minor car accident, but lost in the snow.
Hmm.
And so that affects her, and she's trying to deal with that. And she had some great friends. Wasn't it great to just not have a mean girl?
Yeah,
Like, or
I
like,
appreciated that.
like she didn't have to struggle in her friends. She had a friend group there that were
Hmm.
very supportive and like, it's nothing, which was so sweet too. Like, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, she doesn't have to deal with a bully or anything like that. Um,
So her mom decides to plan this dance for her, make it really inclusive, and she when she hears that, oh, I'm not going to go to the dance or I'm afraid to go to the dance, she wants to try to make this a positive experience.
mhm.
And so she volunteers, and then this teacher, Daniel, his name, agrees to sponsor the dance. But he's like, I don't want to just I don't want to just be the sponsor. I want to actually like be involved and wants to help plan.
Right.
Yeah. And she seemed like very defensive around Daniel to begin with. And I don't know if that's just because she was like awkward, kind of already had sort of a crush on him, or, but
I think
she
it was an
seemed,
awkward, yeah, like defensive because I think it's like maybe she's always had to have that guard up. Like people are always questioning her about what she's doing, or maybe they think she's too attached or something. But I do think it was maybe a bit weird because he's very easy back and flirty right from the beginning, and she doesn't know how to do that yet because she's hasn't been thinking of a relationship. She's divorced and she's
yeah.
just focusing on her daughter. So it's awkward because she doesn't know how to react to that, I think.
And so he loves poetry and he wanted to become a poet, but I, where's how many people are really full-time poets in this day and age? Not that many.
These day and age, not that many, I don't think, but they
No.
are they are there.
Yeah, not
Um,
many. But that was his true calling, but he never really got to embrace it.
right, and he wants to go to Paris. Oh, that date that they had where she puts on the beret and stuff with
Yeah,
the
that kind of
red.
came out of
That
nowhere.
no,
I would have liked a little bit of, if we had more time in this movie, like
yeah,
her kind of planning that and like
right,
getting
and her like
excited, a
doing
little bit
something
of build
sweet
up,
for him. Yeah,
because it was kind of like, what? This, I don't know. I just felt like that intricate of a date, that like thoughtful of a date, that kind of came out of nowhere. But it was
yeah,
cute.
and
It's so cute.
and at the same time, the daughter is with her friends planning their own party where
Uh-huh.
they can have like it's not going to be too
Yeah.
much loud music. It's more comfortable for them, and she's also trying to make it nice so her mom can enjoy herself too, because her mom loves Christmas, and she's planning it also like for her mother as well. So they're both doing the same thing for each other. They did, but just keeping it secret.
Yeah.
And
Which
so,
on paper that sounded really bad. Like
yeah,
oh no,
right.
we're gonna have two party planning, or it's gonna be kind of compatible,
Oh,
driving
it
this
doesn't even
wedge.
feel like a traditional party planning movie either.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid, people. It really
Yeah.
did. I didn't even think about that. I don't associate this movie with party planning, but it
No.
is.
Yeah. Then they're like selling Christmas cards to make money for they're having the party basically in this barn,
Right,
the
with the new
girls.
kid.
Uh-huh. And she starts texting with this young man, and I really thought their relationship was very sweet and
Very
endearing.
sweet, yeah.
Yeah, I
Because
liked
he was
them.
new in school and he
Mhm.
was also autistic, and they just bonded. Like she really helped him out, like
Yeah.
coming out of his shell. And then also it was so sweet too because like he's new and he has to start all over again, right? And it's a tough situation, but the just her friend group immediately welcomes him in, with open arms and like we're cool, like you don't got to worry about this. I thought that was so refreshing.
Yeah, they were both very understanding of each other's ticks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
Hmm.
helping each other too. And
Hmm.
yeah.
And she asks Daniel for a recommendation letter for this school. I forget if it was Berkeley or
I
I
believe
know.
it was Berkeley, something
Yeah,
Berkeley.
yeah. I know
Which he's
that's in the
totally open to
Sugarplum,
doing. Yeah,
but
which he's
uh,
totally open to doing, and he encourages her.
uh-huh.
But mom's a
Yeah.
little bit worried, which is a legit concern.
Mhm. Yeah. So then we have that we find out that she got lost in the snow, and that's why she's scared of snow. I don't like being scared. Uh, and then she says, I get to decide. And that makes the scary things less scary.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. And she's saying, I don't want your help. I want to figure this out on my own, which is certainly understandable for a teenager.
Totally. Yeah, because
uh,
she does, at a point, will eventually have to deal with that on her own. And
uh-huh,
I think she's coming to that awareness. Like, I have to learn how to deal as well. As much as
uh-huh,
I love, you helping me out, Mom, I do have to, like, learn how to do this on my own.
yeah. So the mom asks Daniel to dinner, and then you also get the daughter asking the boy to the dance. Both that was very sweet.
Very sweet. Oh, and
And
I loved her looks too for both dances. She looked so adorable.
but it was so cute when she is asking the boy to the dance, and he has it written down
Oh,
that
yeah.
because that's how he's comfortable. He's like, I wanted you to go to the dance with me or whatever, and that was really cute.
That was so cute.
Yeah. And then so then there's this date in Paris, which again, like for how elaborate it was, I would have loved
Yeah,
a
she's kind of
little
like brag. Yeah.
anticipation, a little planning, kind
Yeah,
of what
she's
was.
she's doing something nice for him.
Uh-huh.
Also,
It reminded
yeah.
me of the recreated date in Parent Trap.
How
You know that
do
when
they
they
have time for this? Well, they had help there, Rachel. They were rich and had help to put that together.
yeah,
She's just a regular,
right.
regular person
She
putting that
works at
all
like
up.
the library or something.
Was it? No, I
The
thought they
school
were.
library.
Oh,
Does
now I
she?
can't remember. I feel bad because I watched this one a bit ago. Now it's slipping my memory.
No, it doesn't matter. She works somewhere like that kind of thing,
Yeah,
but
she does
nothing
work at a
nothing fancy.
library. Yeah,
Nothing fancy.
right on.
So then the barn, it's all set up with the Christmas village, and that was really sweet. And Daniel has been considering doing this residency program at Shakespeare and Company, which is this famous bookstore in Paris. And uh he asks the mom to the dance, and that was sweet. And we get like a kiss, which was nice.
Yeah.
Hmm. And
Also nice that she was very supportive of him going to Paris and encouraging him
yeah, it wasn't
to
really like a
follow
big
his dream. It was
conflict.
like, I can't believe it. We're just starting something. He can't leave. No, it's okay, people. This
Yeah,
FaceTime. Like
absolutely.
it's not a worry.
Well, the
So that
daughter
was,
stumbles upon them kissing, and then so she's upset. But then it all blows up that, oh, you wrote this recommendation letter. How could you? You're applying to college. And she's like, I don't know anything about my daughter. And it was a little bit of a freak out, but like
they got
it
over
wasn't
it
it
pretty
wasn't too
quickly.
cringe. Yeah, it wasn't too
No.
bad. It wasn't too bad.
No, because they're each trying to say, "Oh, I'm sorry for acting that way," and it was like, in the moment, and I was like, "Oh, I just
Yeah.
loved how they handled everything in this movie, Rachel. It's so
Yeah.
refreshing."
And she just says, "You don't have to worry about me, Mom. I'll be okay." And that was very sweet.
It was very sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then they figure out everything and they're going to combine both dances. And then he announces that he's doing the sabbatical. And then the daughter gets upset about the snow. She's scared of the snow. And you have the boyfriend, Will, he recites all these facts about the snow, and
Right.
that calms him down. And
He,
the, and then we get a thing of, well, it, you're going to Paris. I'm excited for you. And he says, well, why don't you go to Paris? Why don't you go with me? And which, was cute.
was cute.
And
Moving faster, but cute.
yeah, I mean, like again, I guess it depends on how
It is a
long
movie.
this
Yeah, I know.
is.
It is a movie, so they got to
It
move fast. You
works.
only got so
Yeah.
much time.
Yeah. I mean, I could buy it. Her daughter's gone. What does she have hanging
Yeah, she
around
does
there?
have that free time. Like her daughter will be going to college, and
Hmm.
she only has the one child, so she will have that open time to at least spend a little bit with him if she so if she wanted to.
Yeah. And so she reads Daniel's poem to in front of everybody at the dance. And I want you to come with me to Paris. And
Oh,
then we get both couples having a moment in the snow. And it would have been nice if they had actually been dancing at that moment.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but they were just kind of coupled together. So it
Yeah.
was like, and I guess you can't title the movie Coupling Up in the
No.
Snow. It doesn't sound as good.
I was like, I get the title for this, but I was like, but also they lied to me. Slightly, slightly, but
So what would you give this one out of 5 crowns?
ooh, 4.5. I really liked it. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting much from it, and I was pleasantly surprised. And I was like, oh, this should have gotten more just advertisement. But it's hard too with the Christmas movies on Hallmark Mystery because those are always kind of an afterthought as a
Yeah.
whole. Um, because they focus so much more on the Hallmark proper movies.
Yeah, I
But
mean sometimes you have those surprises like Two Turtle
yeah,
Doves or the Christmas Bow or something like that
right.
really
Yeah,
is a
because
highlight.
the Hallmark mystery. I don't know if they're doing the Miracles of Christmas tag this year with them, but they're usually more family focused, a bit
Yeah.
more drama focused, like a little serious, like a little bit more
But
than
I
the
agree with
whimsical.
you for this. It was a pleasant surprise for sure.
Mhm.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind the scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
I want to save Sugarplum for the last one. So
Yeah.
we have Private Princess Christmas. And and this is director Paul Ziller, writer Roger Grant, and it stars Ali Scobie, Derek Klena, and Erica Durant. Princess Violet of Lingravia must complete a tough leadership boot camp in Colorado or risk losing her throne to her uncle. Now you're a big fan of these royal movies, big
Mhm.
royal person. So what do you think about this one overall?
Pleasantly surprised. It was not bad.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed it. One, she wanted to be queen. She didn't want to give it up to be a florist or a baker or work at a mall, which I've
Right.
seen all those movies, by the way, with those plots. And most importantly, somebody got the memo where they stopped buying uh, tiaras from Party City meant for 3-year-olds. They went on Amazon. They got some nice like headpieces. Like you can get them for $12, like some really nice ones. And the tiara game was on point.
Yeah.
It looked like, what an actual royal would wear. But
Yeah. It
it's just
was,
crazy. Like the whole plot is bonkers. Like, how would any of that teach you how to lead? And it's
yeah.
basically just it's boot camp for like rich people that nobody likes, I guess.
Yeah. This was,
It's
I
boot camp
mean,
for rich people.
this looked like something that it was from an AI machine. Like
Oh my gosh, yes,
it
right?
really did look
Absolutely.
like Royal Hallmark movie, enter into Chat GPT and see what they give you. So like I
Exactly.
was going with very low expectations. Maybe
Same.
that helped, but
Yeah.
it was like decent. And I think that the biggest thing that helped it is that they didn't actually make it a real boot camp.
No.
It's
It's
just
just
like a
like
school.
it's like
It's
yeah,
like a
for
camp.
rich folks,
Yeah, it's like a
which
camp.
like in reality, and I was like, no, this is a movie. Don't overthink it, Terry. But I was like, she would have had a lot of royalty, a lot of heirs, even the spares. They serve in their own military to
Yeah.
some
Oh
capacity.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Um,
she could have nailed boot camp. She would have had to serve. She would have
yeah,
had
this
to
is
gone through
not
it in
like
her
Private
country.
Benjamin or something like
No,
that.
no,
Like this is
absolutely
not at
not.
all.
But
This is like, but I think that helped it because you didn't care that like why are
oh
they
no, it was
decorating the
just like
barracks and why are they,
well, I
like
mean,
who
this is
cares?
like you got to learn how to make Christmas cookies together to succeed, and you're like, what?
Yeah, but like if it's just like kind of a summer camp in the winter, if it's it if it's
Yeah,
something kind of fun, like to
clearly
help
you
her
filmed
learn a
in the
little bit,
summer.
then
Yeah,
who cares? It just gave them
yeah.
a freedom
It did. It was like this is
that was good.
ridiculous. It's it's like when you watch those boot camp reality TV shows. That's what it reminded me of. But did you need the romance? I mean, they didn't really focus on it, but this is another movie that didn't need romance in it. I don't think.
Yeah, I
It's
didn't really
about
need it.
her growing up essentially and just taking her responsibility serious.
I mean, I'm never going to complain about a movie that gives us a shirtless Derek cleanup,
No, yeah.
but yeah, I didn't really need
Oh,
it.
right. Yeah. I was like, ooh, nice surprise.
Yeah,
What that jawline though, Rachel.
yeah,
Woo!
woo, yeah.
It's true.
I
And
mean, it's
he's
too bad
saying
we could we
Edelweiss. I was like, chef's kiss.
yeah, yeah. But they barely spent any time on it,
Oh,
so
barely.
I
Yeah.
was
It's just
fine with
like
it.
I thought, yeah, I
It
was like,
was
this is
just
a
a
movie
footnote at the end, really.
totally. Because they have to like somebody's gotta fall in love or I mean, we don't even really know. They're just starting something, and I like that. It was more about her. And I am surprised. I I can't believe I was like, the accents are fine. The fake accents, I was like, they're
Yeah.
doable. Like even
She,
from Erica Durant, I was like, I'm cool with all of this.
like her accent, not Eric Durant's, Allie's goes in and out just a little bit,
Yeah, just a little bit, but I was
but
somehow that didn't bother me at all. I was
no,
like,
it didn't bother me
it's
too
totally,
much.
really, yeah. I was like, this movie's fine. It really is. It's like, you
Yeah,
know,
it is.
I'll
It's
take this
perfectly
over working at
watchable.
a mall. I can't be a king. I have to work at a mall. That's not a Hallmark movie. That's another channel movie. I don't want to go into it, but like that broke me for a while, Rachel. And I've never fully recovered, but I like that this one is like, no, I
Yeah.
want to be queen. You ain't taking that from me.
So basically it starts out she is just kind of winging it being queen. She's not taking it seriously enough. Like she wants to be queen, but she thinks like basically I can make it up as I go kind of idea.
Right.
And there's this whole thing where there's this tradition of this goat choosing
But that
the
was
royal
why you
Christmas
pulling a
tree.
goat in there? She didn't train the goat.
The goat
Did
picked
not train the goat.
the wrong tree, and they're like, didn't you train the goat? And
Can
uh
you believe that, Rachel? Part of her job as a princess, she got to train that goat.
yeah.
Like, how do you train a goat? I
But
did laugh when the tea with the Sisters of Perpetual Christ. And she's just sitting there with the nuns, and I was like nerve wracking. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, anybody's ever been about around a bunch of nuns, like you are on high alert there. It is a little weird, like
So she doesn't have a mission, and they basically say like every royal must have a mission. You must have something that you want to be a part of. And that makes
right.
sense. Like
Yeah.
because even a royal person with all their influence cannot do everything and reach everyone. You kind of want to pick some things that you want
Right.
to focus on, and that
Because you have that exposure, and
yeah,
and that's why celebrities, I mean, charities love celebrities, whether because they have that exposure to get people
yeah.
aware of what they're doing and what they're helping and benefiting.
But
And she
even
does, yeah.
even a celebrity or a royal person still has to pick kind of
Yeah, they have
a
to pick
folk.
what,
Nobody
yeah.
can be everything to like everyone,
No,
and
absolutely.
so she after the debacle with the goats, then they're like, you're not taking this seriously, so we're gonna send you to this boot camp. And it's basically like I did think it was like a little bit clever how she's not the only one going to this boot camp. There's like all of these different celebrities.
Oh, I do loved how it was just rich, spoiled people. And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yes, oh, this is perfect. This
That
isn't
was a
like
lot
a,
better than if like she was actually joining the army because I wasn't sitting
absolutely. I
I
was a
wasn't
bit
sitting here
worried
being
about
like
that. Yeah.
why isn't this, like realistic or
No,
is this
yeah, I was a bit worried about that. I was like, oh no, it's just like celebrity boot camp, like a TV
Yeah,
show
that's
you
what
would
I thought
watch.
of too. I was like, this could be a
Yeah.
VH1 show.
Absolutely, that's what I thought. I was like, clever. I was like, this movie's clever that they've done that. I actually was
Yeah.
surprised too at it's not like overwhelming and like don't be scared off by it, but they really were like, let's pray, let's say the grace, and I was like,
I
oh, they're
I was surprised by that as well.
yeah.
That they had multiple prayers.
Yeah, and I was like, oh wow, in a movie like this, and
Yeah,
and it was over meals and stuff, and I was like, oh, it's interesting.
yeah.
Really interesting how they were like I
So
don't know, there's a lot of this movie that was interesting and different for a royal
uh
movie.
yeah. Well, so he has this PTSD because this cadet that he trained who he had tried to keep out of combat, and
And
then
he died. Yeah, oh, his job at the beginning, he's just so unhappy. What do you think of that cameo, Rachel? I
it
almost
was
forgot.
very
Was it?
weird. I like
It
I
was a
don't
weird
really
cameo.
understand why. It was very strange. There was like it's one thing to have a cameo, but when they literally do nothing, they're just like an extra. It was
Well, I wondered too if this movie was a an acquisition of sorts later on, and they kind of added that in to because there's certain movies too that it's funny because like Sugar Plum has a bunch of cameos in it, but I think like did they add that in later on once
but
Hallmark
like the
got
Sugar Plum cameos make sense for the plot. This was just kind
right?
of
I
like
kind of feel it was just thrown in like it was acquired by Hallmark, and they were like,
yeah,
let's
it
let's
felt
add this in.
like Brendan Penny needed a favor, and so they're like, well, we'll
Like, oh
just
yeah,
put
I'm besties like with the director or something. I don't
yeah.
know. And it was weird because he was like, yeah, you're not, you're not getting lucky because you need your breath stinks or whatever. I kind of laughed at
Yeah.
that because it's so like left field for a cameo. But I was like,
Yeah.
I'll take it in this movie. We
I
haven't got
was
we haven't had
I
that many cameos either this season, like this
really I
holiday
feel like we've
season.
had a lot
Have we?
with
I
Niall
don't.
Mater and with
Well, we
I
had
don't know, I
so
feel
many
like
last
yeah,
year, I think.
Wes Brown
Oh
and
yeah, he pops up. I
yeah.
watched a Chiefs movie so long ago that I can't even because
But
Hallmark
the
sent out that screener forever ago.
I was a little bit confused about does she not know how to read? She's
At
saying that
first, I
like
thought,
her person always reads aloud
reads out loud
on
and
the
audio. At
keyboard.
first, I thought they might touch that she might have had like a little bit of a reading problem, and that was going to be a certain insecurity of her. But no, she's just rich and spoiled, Rachel. She has somebody read to her. If only I had that, right?
She's
Just
like,
sit down.
I just look at the pictures and I'm like, do you know how to read? I was a little bit confused.
I think that was just
Okay.
trying to show also being funny and just the level of privilege and
Yeah.
that she had at that moment, which is crazy because I'm pretty sure.
I mean, the big
Imagine Rachel just sitting there eating bonbons and somebody looking at pictures and somebody's just there in person like an audiobook.
I just thought that was an odd flex for the character. The
Yeah.
the big, like, if I was gonna criticize this movie, is that they make it this like endearing attribute that she knows sign language. But
Right.
they specifically say ASL, that she knows ASL, and she's the princess of another nation. Why would she know ASL?
Yeah, it's
She would know the, like, there's British Sign Language, there's
yeah,
all the
that's what I
other.
well, Rachel, they had to make it somehow believable like for here for the the audience that this movie is intended to. You're right. She would not that she wouldn't know sign language, but
She would know her own country's sign language. She
I'm
wouldn't
not
know
even I should
ASL,
yeah. I mean, I don't like
because BS, British Sign Language, is totally different, a totally different language. It's
it
not.
is. It's a totally different language. I do wonder, I don't know much about sign language, but so I don't know if there's one that like sort of like an international
Well,
version.
I looked it up, and
Yeah.
says both languages use non-manual signals, but they're used differently in each language. ASL tends to rely heavily on facial expressions, while BSL relies more on body movements and handshakes. For
Right. And
example,
they kind of had a mix of that here because she wasn't really expressive with her face when she was doing it. But I don't know. I guess
I
just we
mean,
can't think about it too much, I guess. But
you
yeah,
aren't
I did think of that
expected
weird.
uh to apply that much critical thinking when it comes to a movie called
Yeah.
Private
That's why I
Princess
was
Christmas.
overthinking it too. And I
But
said, take a
still,
step back with that military stuff.
considering it was a completely unnecessary plot element,
Yeah.
and that it was just kind of like it was stupid.
Well,
Sorry. It was dumb.
but it was just like pick a service, and we were like, well, her
Uh-huh.
father was deaf, and so she knows sign language. So let her help, let her help. Let that be her act of service. Which now that I'm
It was
thinking about
it
it,
was supposed
like,
to like endear you to her because, like,
Rachel, the more I think about it, I'm like, is this like a secret Christian movie? People always pop that up. It's a
yeah.
secret faith base.
Well, no, because
Her
there's all the
acts
stuff
of
with the
service.
church. She's clearing
Yeah.
the trees for the church and
So
the
I
whole
watched this
thing.
very early this morning, and now that I'm thinking about it, I was like, wait, there's like a lot of like, um, not messaging, like not, beating you over the head with it, but yeah, she's got to pick a service, an act of
Uh-huh.
service, and all this. It's interesting. Now that we're talking about it, it's hitting me more, and
Yeah.
I'm like, huh.
I bet that American Family, great, would, I bet they were also interested in this movie. I bet there was a battle over this
Rachel,
one.
it is too polished for that channel. They get the one where the king where the
Ugh,
he wants to work at a mall.
yeah.
I'm broken. I'm broken.
So then she quits at a point, but that's when she finds the deaf man
Yeah.
in the car stuck in the snow, and she helps him. And so then they're like, "Oh, you're really actually a good person."
Do you think he
And
was so hard up? Do you think he was like terrible? I think he was kind of soft on them. Like this is boot camp. I mean, obviously
no,
not
yeah,
a
it's
serious one. I mean, drill
yeah.
sergeants aren't there to be your friend. But
Well,
I
yeah, and they're
have,
like decorating the barracks and stuff. Like, I mean, it's this is
don't
not
you? In
realistic boot camp.
No, it's not, but there is a thing too where I remember a couple of years ago reading about this whole article how the drill sergeants were just too hard in boot camp. And I was like, I've never been to boot camp. My brother served. And I was like, that whole, oh, they're mean to you and they yell at you. Because if you have to go into war, you
Yeah, that's what I
cannot
was
be
just gonna say.
coddled with like tanks and bullets flying over your head or
Yeah,
anything like that. You have to be prepared,
yeah,
for
it's
the worst. So
true.
you
You have
can't
to
like
be
yell, you can't be nice at boot camp.
Yeah,
because you're
no,
not
it's
gonna
true.
know.
That's why it worked that it was this
Yeah, yeah. And I was
school. It
like,
wasn't a real boot camp.
yeah, but these were like rich, like
Yeah.
spoiled, like super spoiled, celebrities and like
Uh-huh. I thought it was kind of fun. They had the whole decorating the Christmas tree with the like office supplies and the other stuff, like making,
yeah.
the ornaments and the snowflakes and stuff like that. That was fun.
Clearly filmed in the summer though. In
Yeah.
Canada. That's not Colorado. But they were like, we're in a bunch
Yeah.
of trees, who cares? And I was like, you're right.
Yeah.
It doesn't
They have like
matter.
a Mulan moment where there's
Oh yes, I
where there's
forgot about
this
that. So great.
where there's this rope, that she gonna be able to climb the rope, like the pole in Mulan.
They should have just
And
put the Be a Man
yeah,
right behind that moment. First of all, climbing rope. I don't know if they do that anymore at school for kids, but I always hated climbing rope at
it's
gym class.
impossible.
It's
Like,
impossible. And okay, so I wasn't the most athletic kid, right? I did try, because we had a period where we had to do gymnastics to, jump over the horse and the
yeah,
balance beam. I don't know if they still, because my niece and nephew do not do that type of stuff in gym class today. So I don't know, but I just remember going to my gym teacher. I was like, "Sir, I'm in third grade. I don't need to climb that rope. I'm not in war." Which is, I got in super trouble for that. But I was like, "Why am I climbing this? What is
yeah,
this going to teach me?"
yeah. There's no
But
way.
you do need that in boot camp. You
Mhm.
would need that, but
So she has a contraband phone that her boyfriend gave her, and she gets caught with it because she lets the one of the
I
other.
really thought she was going to escape from that. But yeah, she gets caught with that because she has learned to, you know what? She wasn't a bad person to begin with. She was just like not fully engaged with her tasks that she had to do. But once they all become friends, she lets her friend use the phone to like tell her dad like I need you present in my life, and that's when she gets caught with it and she fesses up she had it all the time and gets
Yeah,
kicked out of boot camp. Like she's gonna graduate, but she's like nope. And her mom's like, you failed, you can't be queen now.
yeah. Well, and so her boyfriend shows up,
Oh
and
yeah, so
she
that was unnecessary too. Like,
yeah, so they
oh, but that's a reason why you're right. But at least that led to a shirtless moment.
yeah, so
With
she sneaks into his barracks.
no, because when she's telling the boyfriend to get out, like I can't believe we were dating. You don't take anything seriously.
Yeah.
She kicks him sort of out, and she's like, "I'm serious." She's like serious at this point. I want to pass. I want to do good. She gets locked outside, and she has to climb up the side to get into an open window that just happens to be his room.
His room, yeah. She
And he
sneaks in.
happens to be like coming out of
But
the shower and something shirtless,
but
like
it was
talking
so
to his
funny
mom
because yeah, he was talking to his mom like on the
on
Zoom. I'm
Zoom.
like, why would
And
you
she's
ever
like,
talk to your mom with your shirt off? Like that's so
well, no,
weird.
in all fairness, like it was ringing and he comes and he presses it, hey mom, and he puts his shirt back on, but we get a little beefcake moment there. I
I mean,
forgive
I
all of
appreciate
that.
the moment, but I would
But
think
I have to
most
say that,
young
yeah,
men
that's
wouldn't.
probably the funniest part of the movie because the mom's like, you got a girlfriend? And he's like, no. It's just, what's that woman crawling in the background?
Oh, that was so funny.
And she does the most terrible curtsy. Like I was like, she did not
Did
practice
you
her
just
curtsy.
curtsy?
And
Yeah.
he's like, did you just curtsy to my mom? Which was, I thought that was just so
Yeah,
funny.
I wrote that into who is that woman crawling across your floor?
Yeah, that was so. And the mom's like, get in here to her husband. He's got a girlfriend, and he's like, no, no, I don't.
Yeah. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's author Stacey Agdern and her new book, The Dreidel Disaster. From the author of The Dating Contract comes a Hanukkah story filled with hijinks, love, and problem solving. Mayor Olivia Nachman is ambitious and excited to be elected to the county legislature and better serve the community. Artur Rabnovich knows how to spin a story and fix almost any PR problem, but his skills are put to the test when he's hired to help untangle the mess that's been made in the village of Briarwood. This creates a new problem, balancing his attraction to the mayor he needs to work with and the need to impress his new boss. Will Liv and Arthur learn to compromise and mix business with pleasure without jeopardizing the project or their careers before the dreidel spins its last? The Dreidel Disaster is the third book in Stacey Agron's Last Girl Standing series and is available wherever books are sold. For more information about Stacey, go to her website, staceyagron.com. That's staceyagron.com. So that was funny.
It was funny, you know,
Yeah.
and the whole situation, like, if you saw that on Zoom, it's like, your son's coming, hey, mom, let me put my shirt on real quick, and there's a lady crawling in the back. What are you going to think, right? So they really.
Yeah, I don't know many a young man that would answer the phone of with their mom with the shirt off.
Yeah, exactly. But I
It
thought,
was
I said, this
really
is the
funny.
funniest moment. Yeah.
But it was also sweet because he has his own little advent calendar,
Oh, like she does too.
so
I,
like
I mean,
he's a tender-hearted
this is
drill
like
sergeant.
again, I might be overthinking this movie, but like in the beginning of the movie, you see her opening it up and eating that chocolate. She's a grown woman. Why is she getting chocolate all over her face like that?
So they have this like caroling party thing, and they're singing the carols, and then he sings Edelweiss because there's this
Oh my
whole
gosh,
thing
so
about
dreamy.
how there is Sound of Music a Christmas
This
movie.
this this movie was correct. She goes, my favorite Christmas movie is The Sound of Music because her father loved it. And he's like, that ain't a Christmas movie. Die Hard's a Christmas movie. And I was like,
Yeah, we
this
get
movie's correct
another
on
Die
that.
Hard
Yeah, every
reference.
movie I've been watching, all they've been talking about is Die Hard. But you know what? I appreciate it because Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
But The Sound of Music isn't. But I just think people associate it with it because for years, like,
it was aired on
aired
Christmas.
on the holiday, especially on ABC. I remember that.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's like a whole brand of holiday film that like there's the ones we did a whole episode ranking the hidden Christmas movies
Right.
where it's just like more subtle. But then there's also a brand of holiday films that aren't Christmas related at all. It just became a tradition of watching around the holidays for like
Yeah.
who we don't know. Like I know a lot of people that watch Lord of the Rings at Christmas, which there's
Right.
nothing Christmassy about it, but that's
No,
a
but it's
thing.
just like they just pick something where, like the family just watches it. It's kind of, and like I just remember growing up, there was like The Sound of Music was always on Christmas and The Ten Commandments was always on Easter. It's just something like that I
Yeah,
think you then associate those films with those holidays.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So that was fun, and nice to hear him sing Edelweiss.
Oh, that was a little too sexy for this movie, but I was like, I will take it. I was like, woo! I was like, all right, that jawline, he's singing, playing the piano. I was like, it's a jack of
Yeah,
all trades here.
and
They beefed
she's
him up for this movie, which
yeah, he was
like that. I
good.
was like, I appreciate this. Thank you, movie.
So then they get in this fight over her having the phone, and he's just
Right.
like, I can't pass you.
So disappointed. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, calm down there, guy.
Yeah.
Like,
All you
I,
see are my failures, which was kind of sweet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they needed conflict, at
Yeah.
that point.
And then someone tells him, you take responsibility for things that aren't your fault. Go live your best life. And then she finds out that the kitchen for this like community meal is down.
For the
There's
vets, yeah, the
for the vets. And
hired vets,
so
yeah.
let's use the mess hall kitchen for this
Yeah.
school or whatever. And so they do that. And she's helping the deaf man make this bench.
To fix the bench that
Fix the bench.
that was somehow broke
Yeah.
during that
And
phone call. So it was an added, and that's the bench he sits on and thinks about Benji or whatever.
yeah, they dedicate the bench to Benji,
Yeah.
the young man that he tried to help. And she's like, I'm just trying to help a friend of mine in need. And she wants to start a whole school for ASL. This
Right,
is
in her
now her
home
mission.
country. Yeah. So she
So
has a passion, I suppose, in life.
Well, I mean, I guess everybody in her country is ASL.
I guess so. I
I
mean, like
guess so.
her country almost sounded like Winnipeg. What was it? Winnegrovia?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
I love how they start. The Eastern Europe when they tell you where it is. Somewhere there. It's somewhere, not specific, but
Yeah.
here's an area. It's made up country, Rachel. I guess we're
Yeah.
overthinking. It's
So
made up.
she graduates and then he says, could I have permission to kiss you? Which was kind of fun. But
That was cute, and it was like the briefest. I couldn't. One, why? And not even her mother who shows up. Her mother wasn't even wearing her crown. Why is she all decked out wearing a tiara like that for that dinner? I was like, who else is like, she went all out like this was a state dinner, and like not even
yeah.
her mom was wearing the crown. And I was like, okay, well, they had to put her in. This was the only chance in that movie to put her in that dress. In all royal movies, usually it's the
Yeah.
woman
And she
coming
looked
into the
great. I
royalty. She
mean,
looked great, yeah. And I
yeah,
was
she
like,
looked
bless you.
great.
I had tears coming down over the tiara and the crown. I was like, thank you. The budget, they put in $20. You could buy it for $12 on Amazon, guys. Not hard. But it's
Yeah, I
just
mean,
like they kissed and the movie that was the end. And I was like, wait, what? I felt like they just cut it off. Like they
yeah.
tapped their lips and then boom, they were like, you can't see the rest of this. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. So what would you give this one?
I'd give it a solid 3
Same.
because
That's what I
I
was
went in
thinking.
with such low expectations. I was like, these war movies are not great anymore. And they just it's not taking anything serious and they just had fun with the whole premise. And they were smart about it, making it a rich boot camp. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, they were smart on the ridiculousness of it. And dude, the guy's jawline gets a full star on its own.
Yeah. It's
So,
true. Yeah, 3 for me as well.
yeah,
It was very watchable.
totally.
Which
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
so then we have Sugarplummed,
Mm,
and this is director and writer Ryan Landells, who has had an incredible Christmas season. He also did Santa Tell Me, which I think is one
another
of the
winner.
best of the season. And so I am really excited. I am going to get a chance to talk with him
Oh, great.
this week. And so yeah, y'all be hearing more from him. But he knocked it out of the park, I think, in both of them. I liked both a lot.
Yep.
So way to go. This stars Maggie Lawson and Janelle Parrish, Brendan Zub, and it's Emily's wish for a picture perfect Christmas comes true when a magical, optimistic movie character steps off the screen to help. But as things spiral out of control, she learns that true holiday perfection might look very different from what she imagined. So this one for me was a huge surprise. I think I gave this a coal in our preview, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think,
Like
yeah,
it was low. It was low.
we were all
And
like, is this gonna work out? It's just
mhm.
like the synopsis doesn't really do this movie justice.
Yeah,
It's
but it
not
was
really what you think it's gonna
it-
become. Yeah.
yeah, it was so funny and so charming. And I really feel like this is basically Hallmark's Enchanted.
Yes, that's a
Doesn't it feel like
good
Enchanted?
comparison to it. Yeah. But like, what a winner. This has to be my favorite. I would put this, like, if I was ranking the Christmas movies, this would definitely be 1, and Santa Tell Me would be 2.
Yeah.
I just
They
think I was like, nobody knew this movie. They didn't promote it. And that happens a lot too because the December movies kind of get lost because they're already going to the end,
Yeah.
and sometimes they're really good, but like why they didn't promote this movie more, I don't know why. It's just such a fun premise, and like I wasn't expecting it to be this good, Rachel.
Yeah, I also have it as my number one.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it to be so good,
Just
and
the
Maggie Lawson, she has not had a great run in a
No, this is
Hallmark
her best
movie
Hallmark
by
movie
far, like not
by
even
far.
close, by
Not even
far. And
close.
I liked Jenna Parrish way more than I was expecting. She was
Oh
so
yeah, she
fun
was
in
like
this.
so bubbly, and I, I just the loving winks they had to just the tropes of Hallmark, like not even just Hallmark Christmas movies, but Christmas movies in general. Like the rule book. No, this is the rule book.
Hmm.
This is me cute, magical happen,
Oh,
and like just the
I tried to write
lovingly
down
making fun of the genre,
I
you know?
tried to write down all the rules,
I
even the
know.
ones
I
like
want that
if the
rule
book
book.
was I do too. If the book was open and you could see a different rule, I wrote that down.
Yeah.
But it starts out with this Harmony Home Network promo, and I'm like, this looks better than
Clear.
Hallmark Channel. Like,
Clearly,
I
I
wish that
know.
I
It
could
was
watch
like
Harmony Home.
clearly I was like, wow. I mean, this is I was like, clearly this is Hallmark, but I was like, wow, they really but I just love the wink winks this movie had.
Yeah,
It's so clever.
it was really, really fun, and
Very
it was
sleek
nice
too.
because it's all about a family and a family story, which I
Right. That's what
appreciated.
it was about, exactly.
She's
Which I
she's
was not
wanting
expecting.
yeah, she's wanting to give her family this like perfect Christmas. She has this checklist, and so it's not about her falling in love with anybody, the Maggie Lawson character. It's
No,
about
it's just
her family
yeah,
becoming connected.
she wants to make Christmas special for her kids who are growing up, because they're teenagers. Like she had
Uh-huh.
special, like she feels her Christmases were special, and her mom went all out. And both wife and hubby have demanding jobs. And I
Yeah,
love the trailers for those movies, the Sugar Plum movies, Rachel.
they were really funny.
They
They
were
were really
really
good.
funny, and I was like, Hallmark has done every single one of those movies that they're making fun of.
I was like, I would
And
watch all of those and have watched all of those movies.
absolutely a dozen times over. But
But it made
it's
me
so
wish I
funny
was
because
like
she's
I wish we had like the equivalent of Sugar Plum in real life.
I know,
You know
right?
what I mean? Like I that because you don't really have like a I mean, I guess Mrs. Miracle's like as close as maybe we get to something like that, but yeah, it was really fun. The thing so it's interesting with the daughter. Like they don't want her to go to Berkeley School of Music. They don't want
Right,
her
the mom,
to
yeah. The
and
mom
I
has a
guess like
specific plan for her to stay closer to home. It's like she's just mapped out the daughter's future. And she's like, no, no,
I
you'll have
guess
success this way.
I guess
Mm,
the like thing that I would say is if she like it depends on what kind of musician that she wants to be. Because they just sort of
hmm.
showed her with the guitar. So it's not like she wants to be like a classical, like in an orchestra or symphony or you know what I
No,
mean, something
it's
like
yeah.
that. So she just wants to be like a pop singer, right? She just wants
Yeah,
to be
I just
or
she just
folk.
wants to go for music,
She
and
just
I don't
wants
know,
to be a
maybe she'll.
regular singer. So my like honestly, my thoughts, if it was my daughter who was interested in pursuing a career in music, I would say, why do you need to go to college at all? If I mean, if that's
Well, maybe she wanted
really
to teach it too. It wasn't very specific, but like if you wanted to teach music and stuff, you would need that,
yeah,
if to
I
branch
didn't
out
really. I don't think
eventually.
she really wanted to. She wanted to be a performer, and she said, "Well,
I
that's not
believe
very
so, yeah, like
realistic."
yeah.
Like, I actually agree with her mom that like it makes sense to go to school for something else, and
Right.
because the thing is that like you don't need any kind of degree to be for a career in music for this kind of
No.
music. And so yeah, you're right. If like she said, "Oh, I want to be a teacher or something," then maybe. But like
Yeah, I felt
in
like, well, if
general,
I don't succeed, I can always teach, but
yeah, in
if it
general,
was,
to have a degree in just like music performance, though, that does nothing. Like
yeah.
all people care
Here's
about
my
is
paper. Sign me up to a record,
like
to a record deal.
all anybody cares about is, do you make good music? Like whether you have a degree
Exactly.
or not, it doesn't matter. And so I would say yes, go to school and get a degree so that you have something to do, and so you're not a professional waiter
Well, Rachel, if we're
while you're trying
cynical,
to while you're trying to get
yeah.
your career in music, so
But if we're
you have,
yeah, if we're
you don't have
cynical
to.
enough to believe that she will eventually fail at this music career, at least she has a fallback. Like she can teach,
But even if
So,
you succeed, you
yeah.
it takes most people a
Oh,
decade
forever.
of waiting tables before you get the big break, and you can be a touring successful full-time musician.
Right. I
And
mean,
so that's why I'm saying,
everybody's
like, I
level.
agree. Like,
Yeah.
at the very least, like going to Berkeley Music, all due respect to Berkeley, but like it will do nothing to help you have an
Yeah.
actual career.
I mean, one's
Like,
level of success in doing what you love when it comes to like artistic endeavors is like I think that if you can, because you have more failure than not in reality. More, a lot of people don't make it, but I think if you can like do what you love and you're not super famous, but also you have a regular job or whatever, I still think that's successful. Like,
sure, absolutely. I'm just saying
so
that, like,
no, but
it
you're right
actually
that yeah.
it actually just like makes sense to either, like, to me in my brain, it makes sense to either not go to college at all and just go all in to
Right.
music, or to go to college for something else that you can have while you're pursuing your career in music. Like,
Listen,
I
that
I
daughter
just
was like, I need
I
to
just
check out of
don't
this
think.
house. That's all she wanted. She was like,
Yeah.
I have to go to college, so let me move away and do what I
Yeah.
love.
But I
But,
was like more on the mom's side than
well, the
not.
mom was a bit controlling. Like, you have to go to this school away from the house right here. And that was a little too, like, all right, lady,
But
like,
I guess I would have been like, either you go, and I mean, I would say either don't go at all. Like that wasn't even an option, but like that would have been probably what I would have said. Like, don't go at all. And then you have the son who is kind of awkward, but he loves to dance. He makes
oh,
these
his
videos,
dance.
but he doesn't actually publish them.
No. I love
Um,
it. He's got the whole light ring on his phone. And I was like, you
yeah.
do all that work and you're not going to publish those videos?
And he's just like, what I do is an art form. It's his art.
Oh, so
Uh,
teenager,
yeah.
like that would be something somebody would say.
So she wants the perfect Christmas, but she burns the fruitcake.
And her family
Uh,
just does not care. Like her
yeah, and
husband's
the
so
but
indifferent
the
over it.
neighbor's like, the complaining about the smell.
Oh, the neighbor though, like, what a Karen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do
I
love the fact where she finally thinks her husband's trying to appreciate her efforts that she's putting in and he's on a
Mm.
Zoom call.
Yeah, that was funny. That was well done. And also her friend at work is watching the Sugarplum movies.
Yeah, what a job that she can watch
I know. That was funny. The holiday movie rules. That every house has to be beautifully decorated, that you always manage to get the impossible Christmas present each year, and that you always end with a kiss on Christmas Eve.
right.
So those are our
The
introductory
Hallmark needs to
rules.
sell those that rule
I
book,
know. I know.
Come
Yeah.
on, guys. Marketing.
So the Sugar Plum movies are her favorite.
No, well, no, yeah, the lady's watching at work and like
Yeah.
Maggie Lawson is disgusted at it. She's like, "Oh, these movies, like they're so unrealistic."
Yeah. But yeah, I wrote down, yeah, that was really funny when she was talking, and it turns out he was talking to the Zoom and not her.
Oh my
So
gosh, that was
that was
so
very
funny.
funny.
Like she goes,
And
"Finally, my husband's appreciating my effort." And he's like, "What?
yeah.
What'd you say, honey? What?" And he was like,
So she makes a wish for Sugar Plum Christmas, and
"Now,
that's
how did
when,
this star find her? Do you just think it was like this lady needs some help or was just
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
because it's just
so.
random magic, you know.
I think the star found her because she
Yeah.
needed it. Yeah. And so Sugar Plum appears and she's got the book of
Oh,
rules.
Sugar
And
Plum was great.
yeah, she
Just
was so good.
the way, like, she's so, and I loved how she was just cheery throughout the whole movie. Like, nothing got her down, no matter what the situation was, even when it backfired. And she's decorating that house, and we're like, we don't got money for this. She
Yeah.
sells all these jewels. I loved it too. They're like, you'd be surprised at how many royals are just walking around, you know. She has all this royal jewelry given to her.
That was really funny. When a big city girl meets a small town bachelor, they're guaranteed to fall in love and get married. And
Yes.
a lot of these tropes are ones that were more prominent in the Bill Abbott era
Oh, yes.
than
Yes,
you
they
see
were.
now. And a lot of times, a lot of these parodies that you see online tend to fall flat for me
Hmm.
because they're not that funny because they're so obvious. They're so, I don't know. It's like, it just doesn't make me laugh that much because it's, I just feel like anybody could come up with these jokes, like,
Right.
whereas like these were a little bit more clever, you know?
Right.
and so it worked anyway. And so yeah, some of the first rules, we have no high paying job can ever match the rewards of reuniting with a high school sweetheart.
Oh my gosh, that had me rolling.
If they stay up late helping you wrap presents, they're already unwrapping their feelings. And then flannel is a natural aphrodisiac.
Agree. I'll agree on that one.
That's
I love me
really
some
funny.
flannel. Now
A
chop some
shared
wood. They had no, chop
Yeah,
some wood
a
while wearing
shared
flannel.
sleigh ride at dusk is the start of a journey to more than just the next town. That was really funny. When
So
a
funny.
holiday task is undertaken, it must be seen through to a happy ending. So she starts out, she calls the decorators in to make the house perfect. And part of the fun of Sugar Plum is that she does not get sarcasm at all.
No,
Yeah. I mean,
she's
she's
so
basically like Giselle in it. This is basically like Hallmark's Enchanted.
totally. That's a great comparison.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So they need to pay for the decorators, but she has like bags of jewelry.
random, random. You believe how many random royals just walk around there? Like, yeah, she has a solution for everything. She goes, "Oh, we'll just sell this. We'll get money."
Yeah, I never dreamed I'd meet a big city girl who didn't turn her back on one to be with the small town guy.
Oh, I know that was so like, and
Uh, who's taking over his family's generational business? You have to take me with you.
she also had a Mary Poppins bag, you know.
Yes. So the Christmas tree farm is being threatened over the heartless business, and
Oh,
so
all
then
the
you had
cameos.
Fiona.
That was
Yeah, you had Fiona Goobleman and Victor Webster, which was really fun.
which like I did not expect it, and I was like, oh, look at that stash that Victor Webster's got rocking.
I
And
didn't understand the whole two turtle doves scenario. What was that about?
the what the hotel was that
They
the
kept
name of
saying it's a two turtle dove scenario. Like obviously that's from the song, but what? I didn't quite
I
get
don't know.
what is she talking about?
I have no idea. I was just like, yeah, I don't understand that. I'm not very. I didn't
I
even.
was like,
You know
what's
what?
a
I didn't
two
even
turtle
equate that to
dove?
the song. I didn't even equate that to the song. I was like, has this been a movie? I was like, no, the Two Turtle Doves movie on Hallmark was about a dead grandma. I said, it can't be
Yeah,
that.
so I
Well,
thought
no,
that
wait.
too.
Yeah, that was, she inherited that place. So kind of, you know, I don't know.
I mean, they were saying that it's when two people can't stand each other, they're destined to fall madly in love before Christmas. But like, what does that have to do with two turtle doves?
I don't know. You know
I
what?
was
It's Christmas
confused about what
sounding.
the two turtle
Yeah.
doves was. But yeah, it was so fun to see Victor and Fiona. That was
It
really
was
good.
so like, and she's like, well, hold on, this idea, and she's like, just make it more modern and while updating to keep it the same. I mean, just like all the like silly ways that they say whatever, and I was like, so clever.
I loved the whole scene when she is trying to get the present, the headphones
Oh my
for
God, she goes, oh
just like
really?
what does that mean? Sold out. What does that mean? That
Maybe
was
you don't
really
have,
funny.
like, because it's never sold out where she's from.
Yeah.
And
What?
that clerk was so like, you have ruined my day to that lady. Like, you can enter this competition, and she just miraculously wins it. That whole montage was funny of the Christmas games. And he is like,
Uh-huh.
here's your headphones. Like, it was like, I
Yeah.
can't stand these people.
Every child's greatest wish for a gift always comes true through the magic of Christmas. And if you
Yeah.
exchange gifts, theirs will always be exactly what you needed, but never asked for.
So
But yeah,
great.
that was super fun. And the teens love nothing more than an emotional heart to heart with their parents.
And she's like, no, I don't think so. I question this one. Like, I was like,
So her house is going to be entered into this Harmony Home thing, and a surprise visit home for the holidays will reunite you with long lost love. And when a festive competition is introduced into the story, a fun and winning new perspective on the holidays is guaranteed for all.
oh man. And then yeah, and when when the parents forget about the parent, uh, uh, I guess when they have to speak at the school about their jobs, and
Yes,
Sugar Plum has
career
to go.
day.
Career day, that's it. And the son is like, people hate me at school already, and Sugar Plum is just like,
And she's like, "What's a job? What's a real job?" That was so cute and
and
funny.
she's
And
just
Jason
giving out
McKinnon,
movie plots, and the guy
he,
goes, is that a plot of a
I
movie?
I loved seeing Jason McKinnon there. It's like the big adventurer. He's like, I climb mountains and
Oh
whatever.
yeah, and I was like, there we go. That's like another cameo.
And it's so weird that they so undersold this movie because
Hmm.
you remember that year that they had the I'm Not Ready for Christmas, the Alicia Witt, and you heard that song a million times
Yes.
all over Hallmark. You would
Yeah.
think that they would be doing that with this movie and this Jennifer Hudson song. You think that that would be like the big, I mean, we'd heard to have Jennifer Hudson singing Winter
Well, they did
Wonderland.
they did it kind of early on, like right before the launch, where they did like a Facebook, like right before Countdown to Christmas started, they did a Facebook Live, and like if you go on the website, they have it where Jennifer Hudson was like kind of what they did with Cher last year,
But you
and
would
then
think
also
that
with Pink, that yeah, she was the big artist, but they didn't really promote her as much either. Like
no,
she was
I
the big
felt like I
artist of
didn't
this
see
year.
much. I mean, like
Yeah.
I'm saying, you would like that I'm Not Ready for Christmas. That song was everywhere that year. Like
Yeah,
you could not
they
get away
usually
from
do
it.
that. Yeah, Hallmark usually does this because they did with Pink. I remember Cher was last year, and so yeah, Jennifer Hudson, like her Christmas album, that song is kind of again, Hallmark is doing such a lousy job,
It's
and
just
this
like
is
I
the
watched the
15th
movie and I'm like,
anniversary too.
I watched the movie and I'm like, they put a lot of effort and money into this. Why did they lead
I
with this?
don't
Why
like.
isn't this one of the movies that was like in the PR, in the like heavily promoted, in the like I just maybe there was stuff I missed, but it
You
just
know
feels like this
the
should have been a movie that they led
did
with, and
you
instead it was just kind of like another
yeah.
one.
Did Hallmark send you the screener for this movie?
Yes.
Because yeah, I got it too, and I felt like that was the hardest that they did to promote it. Like we'll just
Yeah.
send out screeners. And I'm
It's
like,
I don't know.
this
Like
is
it's just
ridiculous.
it's because there's times at Hallmark where it's like, wow, this script is really, really good. And it's like I feel like I'm the one that kind of realizes this movie is better than they even realize. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Whereas, but then there's other times where it's like, no, they know this is good. They've invested in it.
yeah.
They're having a Jennifer Hudson song. They're having like they know this movie is good. So if you know it's good, then why didn't you lead with it? Like, why wasn't this
I,
one of
I,
the big
I,
movies
there's so many. I mean, you could do a
this
whole
season?
discussion, Rachel. You could do a whole discussion about the questionable way that they've promoted Countdown to Christmas this year. In the 15th year, they
Yeah.
didn't promote Lacey's movie. This movie I would have promoted definitely as a movie for December. But,
Yeah.
they spent all their money on holiday cheaps and doing a live premiere and all this other stuff. And like, who
Yeah.
cares? I mean,
You know what I'm saying though?
ugh.
Like they knew this movie was good. Why didn't they lead with it? Is my big wonder. But anyway,
It's so I don't understand. I don't
yeah.
understand the marketing this year. And, And I'm puzzled by the AI posters and the
Yeah.
lack of thought to. You can't just be the audience is going to be here. We win Christmas every year and shrug your shoulders. No,
But
you still have to put in the work.
it's just so weird when they did put in the work, but then they don't put in the work. You know what
Well,
I'm
they
saying? Like
chose
you
like
did put in the
Hallmark.
work in making
Yeah.
the movie and making it good. Then you
Hallmark
don't
clearly
put in the
just
work
chose. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
promoting it and getting the word out there. Like it's so strange to me. It's like
They chose
it's
their
like the
movie and that's
groomsmen.
it.
The groomsmen is a great example. Like those movies, they put in the work. They were well, like I think they were pretty well made.
Yeah,
Like
and you know what? They'll
uh,
put the work in when they premiere on Hallmark proper.
I
That's
guess,
exactly
but
what they're gonna. It's just so weird. Like you can like I don't even know. Like people, we could go probably on forever. Just the weird PR moves that they're doing. They
yeah,
chose one movie and focused completely on that. And I believe that they not that they shouldn't have advertised the holiday touchdown. No, that was a partnership. I get it, but you could definitely
but
do it for more films.
even
The
that
I
one,
this
they
I'm sorry, but like I know they're getting sued right now for age discrimination, but not promoting Lacey's movie when Lacey is, and they didn't really even promote his and hers either. That gave
yeah, it's true.
earlier.
It's true.
She is a benchmark. She's the most familiar face on your channel. It used to
Yeah.
be Candace
If
Kim
you
Bure
ask
and
the
Lacey Chabert,
if
and
you
now
ask
all
the
they got is Lacey.
yeah,
Like use her.
if you ask the average person what's the best Hallmark movie or the Hallmark movie, they should they say Hot Frosty, even though it's not a Hallmark movie.
Yeah,
Like that's
everybody's
how
going to compare it because it's got Lacey in it, and they're
yeah.
just going to associate it. And I don't think
So
we have I think
it's
we
a problem.
get one Christmas movie from Lacey next year, and that's it. Something's going on. I just think that you're going to aggravate the talent at some point as well.
I
Um,
don't know.
when you just shrug
I
your
just
shoulder over
feel
it.
like why make really good movies and then just like dump them? Like it just doesn't make any sense for
Yeah,
me. But anyway,
they don't even try for like interviews. There's no usually even with the lesser even with ones that they haven't in the years promoted that big, they'd always been like there's interviews out there. Like these stars are hustling to promote their movies out more than the network is, who paid to get these movies and to make them and to acquire them, and they won't even promote them.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
bizarre, and this is a movie that I agree with you, Rachel. They should have went. This is the movie for December. This is what we should really be
yeah.
promoting. And
Anyway,
how many people are going to realize for their last movie of Countdown to Christmas for the holidays or whatever? How many people even realize that that's going to have the winner of Finding Mr. Christmas in it?
yeah,
Nobody knows.
yeah. It's
Nobody
true.
knows it because they don't even care.
Yeah, it's so weird. But anyway,
I know.
so but this whole
Tangent.
like middle part of her getting the presents and in like full sugar plummed mode was really fun.
It was
Very,
really fun. Like, see, it's all gonna work out
yeah.
until it
And
doesn't.
and so she gets the they have the career day. She sets the snow in the school
Oh my gosh,
inside. Uh, and
that
that
was
kind of
so
comes back to things and she says
it comes out to bite her like
and she takes the tree from the neighbor's yard. That
that
was
was hysterical. She's chopping the limb and goes, my tree. And she goes, oh, thank you. And then he's like,
nothing can stop a festively decorated tree from proudly displaying its love of the holiday season. So they're finalists in the contest, and there's a break in the electricity, so they're trying to fix that. A bag of any size can contain a full winter wardrobe, including multiple coats, scarves, and mittens.
which Sugar Plum really proves.
That was so funny. And then in the vicinity of Christmas cheer, any baked goods will turn out visually stunning and perfectly delicious, regardless of
Yeah.
any ingredients you have on hand.
Oh my gosh, she takes those salt cookies to work, the hubby that she
And then
ruined.
yeah, she's
She
like,
gets in trouble for it.
I didn't have any ginger, so I put in a bottle of gin.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't salt cookies, it was gin cookies. And I'm like, whoa, lady. Everybody was sauced at his meeting and he gets in trouble for it.
Everybody's drunk from her cookies, which is so funny. And then she said, in each and every home, vintage ornaments with a strong emotional connection are a must. She said, I couldn't drink another bite.
Even when Sugar Plum tastes it, she's like,
Yeah.
oh, because it's so funny because there's like Sugar Plum is slowly cracking but doesn't let it get her down. And she's like, you think you've overdone it with the decorations when Sugar Plum says that? And when she's like, oh, her eyes twitching eating them gin cookies, like something's going wrong here.
Well, then that's when things start to spiral, which becomes very funny.
Oh, when they're like, you're suspended from school because
Yeah.
you did vandalism because of the
Yeah.
snow and it's asbestos. I was like, what? He's not
So
in trouble for giving the kids
teen gets
asbestos.
suspended. And then that Victor is stringing Fiona along.
Oh, yeah,
so
Victor
she dropped
Webster.
the challenge against the county's decision. The lodge is being leveled. I'm like, oh
And Sugar Plum, she gets arrested. Just her. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
that
her
was
posing
so
for
funny.
her mugshot like it was a kid,
no!
like
Right,
a
can
photo
you stop
shoot.
doing that? And Carla Marks serves her paper.
Oh my gosh, what a! I was like, wait, is that Carla Marks? Just pops up there, and it was. Oh, I had to laugh like
That
here
was
you go.
so
She
funny.
thinks she's having her own meet cute. I think.
Yeah.
She's like, oh wait, I've got my own meet cute, and it's like you have been served, and she's like, what? What?
Any logistical or legal obstacles to enjoying the holidays must be resolved in a heartwarming and timely manner.
Yeah.
And then if they remember the little things about your favorite Christmas memories, they're thinking about making new ones with you.
Yeah. Sugar Plum's entire time being questioned by the cops and in jail, and how they were like, first of all, he was just exasperated with her. But like, if somebody had actual snowflakes for fingerprints, Rachel, wouldn't you be like, what's going on here? What? I got to keep her locked up, safe and sound.
Yeah.
She can't go nowhere. This is some kind of spy.
It was so funny, her being in that jail cell.
Oh, and she makes everybody sing, and they were like, "Please let her leave." Let her get out.
At first they're interviewing her, and they're like, "Well, you're gonna let me go home, right?" And she's like, "I'll tell you where you're going." And she ends up in the cell.
And she's still so chill. But I like it because I love Janelle Paris because when things start going wrong and she figures out my magic isn't working, she's got like a slight twitch in her in her expression. But that's as far as she loses control. Like, wait, why isn't this working? You know? And there's a slight crack. I was worried at first that this was going to then turn like into some kind of crisis mode. Like she was going to be like, "Oh no, I don't know what to do." But it never went that way. And I was
the
like,
detective says, "I don't know if you're crazy or just watched too many Christmas movies, but you'll be in here for a while."
But I loved her facial. She was like a slight crack, like, this isn't, my magic isn't working.
Yeah.
And so that's when things start to go wrong.
The husband gets in trouble for the gin cookies.
Oh, he gets like he's a child. Like, I'm gonna work now.
Because he has this horrible boss who's like making them work all these hours and everything.
Oh. But the resolution to that boss and to that neighbor is so funny.
Yeah, and I love Brendan Zub. He's been a favorite for a long time, so I was happy to see him.
I was so shocked that he was in this movie. I just didn't know he was in it.
Yeah.
Like, I really didn't like look at any pictures or like the synopsis doesn't say it. It just says that it's just Maggie Lawson and Janelle Paris. And when he popped up, I was like, oh.
Yeah, he's good. He was really good for this.
Yeah.
And that she says, "We never asked for any of this. You do this for you." That her feelings about her mother and kind of forcing this on her family and her kids.
Yeah, because she was going a bit over the top, and she could have just taken it easy and just done simple, like little simple things, and it would have been just enough for her family. But also, her family was a little underappreciated for her at least trying. But
yeah,
they all had to. I don't really know if anybody learned their lessons. Yeah, Rachel, did anybody really learn a lesson at the end of the movie? I think not.
I think hopefully they learned something.
The kid gets to go to music school. They learned something.
that the magic is fading in the stars, and so oh no, what's gonna
Yeah,
happen? And then the Max's dance video gets uploaded to the cloud.
quite
So he
accidental.
gets very
Yeah, it was in the
upset.
cloud, and I was like, wait, how does this work? What? Um,
And it says that they just need you. If you keep putting all this pressure on yourself,
right.
then be yourself and be proud of who you are. And it turns out that the girls that the likes the video, the son's video. So it turns out to be a hit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because he's got like this, like he's got like a crush, and at first he's mortified at school, but when the snow happens, that's even funny because I was like, how did he not get into more trouble? Like that was I was like, is he killing students with that asbestos? Falling everywhere. But
So it
yeah,
just she ends up telling the daughter had run away, and then she says, "You are unstoppable. Go to whatever school you want." And there's this like group hug, which was
yeah.
very
It's
sweet.
very sweet how the family came together and how she's like, you know what, we don't, what a nightmare though, if you're qualified to like go on a reality show because the way you decorated your house. Like, what an utter nightmare. And
Yeah.
she's like, she's even giving that up because that's not important. She realized,
Well, and
you
he
know,
stands up to his boss,
right,
and then the boss comes and apologizes, and then the developer has a change of heart and proposed to the owner, and they're like,
right.
"Ooh, proposal! What kind of
And the grumpy
proposal?"
neighbor, gets a little
It's
sparks from the mean boss. I did love the mean boss. He goes, "You're here because he's at the school recital." He's like, "Yeah, I'm suffering through bad violin." I was like, "I feel you.
yeah.
I feel you. I've got two holiday Christmas concerts coming up, Rachel. Here we go. I
My
feel you."
favorite when you tweet your
I
so
know.
the then you have the that so then they're going to be doing this new project, the developer and the lodge owner,
Yeah.
and they need somebody to run it, and so the boss says to Brendan's character, you get to manage this, you get to work on the project. And it turns out that the boss knows the neighbor and that they worked
Oh yeah,
together
they knew each other.
in
Yeah.
Vermont, and
And
the
yeah, of
most
course, Vermont.
it was the most romantic Christmas of my life.
Because he's divorced and she's a widow, and of
It
course,
was so
it was
funny.
so funny that they managed to squeeze that in. But also, why does the hubby get rewarded? Because he barely put any effort into anything in this movie. He was like, "Oh yeah, she wants to go to college. Oh yeah, you got dance videos.
That's
Shrug
true.
on the front of the computer. Like he barely put any effort.
That's true.
I
But he
do
did have
love.
the epic quit moment, so he has to be
Oh, he
rewarded
did. He
for that.
finally, he finally, like, yeah, he finally grew a pair,
He has to
and he
be
was like, no,
rewarded for that.
yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
I do love how it's not a dream, it's not a fantasy. It's like this really happened. There's like Christmas magic,
yeah.
you know.
And they end up with the all in Christmas sweaters and
Watching a Sugar
yeah,
Plum marathon on
right.
TV,
Doesn't
and
she
they're
look
like,
familiar?
"Wait." Yeah. I do love how they put that right away that no one sees her, no one recognizes her as Sugar Plum. They explain that right away that, oh, you know who I am, but nobody else does. That's part of the magic. And she's so excited at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So I was like, yes, they finally wrote that, a clever way to people like, wait, aren't you on TV? Because apparently she's super famous.
Mhm. Yeah.
My gosh. Do you know what would be a great sequel if you got like Janelle Paris playing the actress? Like, I'm so tired of Sugar Plum. I want to quit and do something else. And then
Oh, that could
Sugar
be
Plum,
funny.
yeah, the Sugar Plum persona comes out to help her. And like, no, this is great.
You know, you could do like a riff on Nightmare Before Christmas. Have like Sugar
Yes.
Plum all
Oh,
of a sudden
yes.
like in a fall movie or like a
Rachel,
summer movie. That could be really funny.
that would be really great because I think this movie can lend to a sequel, to a fun
Yeah, I
sequel.
agree.
I don't know if Hallmark would ever do it. I doubt it. We'll probably get a sequel to the to the Holiday Touchdown.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be like a whole new franchise. But
Oh no.
I think there is things they could do that could be really funny.
Oh
Like
yeah, they could
if you had
totally.
Sugar Plum, because what you could do is you could have Sugar Plum in the summer, and have the like resolution be a Christmas in July. They're like,
Exactly. There's
oh,
so
that could be
many,
so
so
funny.
many, yeah, there's so many possibilities for like more
Yeah.
sugar plumbed movies, and I would be okay
Here's
if
a
it comes
question
out
though.
like
I
this.
have here's a question I have for you though. Do you think this movie would be entertaining for people that aren't in the Hallmark bubble? Is it
I
funny for us just because we get all of these jokes and all these in?
that is
That's why I
true.
was
Like
wondering.
I think yes and no. I think for maybe I think casual, if you're a casual Christmas viewer, you get that what they're making fun of. I
Mhm.
think you understand that and you can have a good time with it. But I do think like if you're a big fan, this is a treat,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, that's how I
know.
was thinking. Like, I think it's
Hmm.
like enough of like an elf enchanted kind of a
Yeah,
story that
I
they could
think
still
because
enjoy it. But
yeah,
like,
holiday movies, yeah, got so it's so funny because every holiday movie people think is a Hallmark movie, and I even when they don't watch it.
yeah,
I was reading something about how they've made Yule Log 2 for Adult Swim, and he goes, yeah, my friend was making me watch Hallmark movies, and I was inspired because I watched the Hallmark movie Holiday in Handcuffs, and I was like, that's not a Hallmark movie,
yeah,
and I just think that even if you don't watch these movies, they Hallmark has so made its mark on the holiday film that even if you're unfamiliar with it, you associate it.
yeah.
Like it's so funny when people are like, "Yeah, that's a Hallmark movie." I was like, "No." Like if you didn't watch
Exactly.
Hot Frosty and somebody told you the plot of it, you wouldn't know that was a Netflix movie.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
you would be
Yeah,
like,
a
"Oh,
lot of
is that a
people don't
Hallmark
know. A lot
movie?"
of people
Yeah.
don't know. They don't
And I
know.
bet you a lot of people didn't even watch it.
The last of the rules is that we get the last of the rules that we get is never let a mistletoe moment go to waste,
Right. So
which
they do
was
have a
cute.
moment like that.
Which was
I
cute.
need boy, Janelle Parrish had a good year on Hallmark. She had that
Yeah, you're
Haunted
right.
Wedding. And this and Sugarplummed. This is her strong point. She needs to do more comedy like this.
Yeah.
I just she was so good in this. She was not even there was a chance too to make this her character like a little grating because she's always cheery and but she really brought like life and was just not at all did not get on your nerves. She wasn't an aggravating character like and
True.
I just loved her slight crack like that her eye twitching a little bit. I just love that like gesture that she had when like wait, what's going on?
Yeah,
You
it was
would
a
think
those are two very strong films
yeah, she had
for
like a great
Hallmark.
year
So
this year.
she did
Yeah.
very well. And I don't know, I just found this like very
So
charming and funny and rewatchable. And uh yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I would give it like the full 5 crowns. I thought it was
absolutely, I would
a,
too. Like this is nothing's going. We've only got like a few more films to go, like one more week to go, but nothing's gonna top this for me on Hallmark.
yeah,
I
it's
think
true.
this was their jewel in the crown. They didn't think so. They obviously didn't think so. You know,
Yeah.
again, I'm so puzzled at why they just didn't even bother this year. But I
Yeah.
mean, also, guys, if you see the poster for this movie, it is horrifying.
Yeah.
They look
There's
like
just
they
like
have
a
melted.
disconnect between the marketing and
Yeah,
the actual filmmakers because I
because
think the filmmakers knew this was good. The
see, this is the problem.
filmmakers,
Yeah, they did. They totally knew it. This is the
yeah.
problem when you use AI to do your poster art, and I've been noticing that. Okay, Hallmark has always had questionable poster art, but this is clearly AI. Their faces look like they're
Yeah,
melting.
it's true.
And so like I was like, this is a horrifying poster.
Plus, it didn't give you like a good idea of
It
kind of
did
what
not. It's
was
just
really
like
happening
it was
because
just.
it should have like she has the star and everything, but I don't
Like I
know,
wouldn't
like
even know that the star played any of this. Like I remember when we talked about
no.
it in the preview show, we were like, "What's going on here? This doesn't sound at all
Like I thought, are they
promising."
in love or something? Like what is happening? But
Yeah,
yeah, there it was definitely a failed marketing, which is a shame because people should watch this movie. It's
there's a
really
lot of
funny.
yeah. It's so funny because there was a lot of movies that we talked about in the preview that we were like, "Eh." Well, at least for the when we
Yeah,
did it for the Hallmark Channel, we were like, "I
yeah,
don't know," and then when I watched it, I was like, this is so much better than what I thought.
It's true.
And it's
True.
just, it's
Yeah.
because it is such a failed marketing attempt. Like, you gotta try. Yeah, like, we're diehards. We're always gonna be there. But like, no, nobody
Mhm.
else is like that.
Yeah.
You still have to try to win your audience. And,
Yeah. But it was
I'd
a
love to see what the ratings
delightful
are for this
film. So
one.
you all should, if you're listening
Yeah.
to this podcast, you should all watch
Do
it. It
you,
was really good.
I wonder what the ratings will be. I have not looked it up, what the ratings for Sugar Plum is. I'm assuming it's low, on the low end.
It's so hard to know. Like why that heiress and the handyman did so well, who knows?
Yeah.
So I have no idea, but
I hope people
I hope people
check
find
this
this. I hope
out.
people, yeah, I did
Yeah,
too.
I
I
really
did
hope
too.
so.
Well, let
But
us
it's
know if you're
delightful, guys.
listening. Yeah, let us know if you're listening what you think of all three of these movies. Where do you stand on? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section or on Twitter. And Terry, where can people find you?
On Twitter at Flurry Heaven.
And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast, Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really, really helps us a lot. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, which is the biggest way you can support what we're doing, and we try to give you really good perks for being a patron member. Like this month we have a Q&A with Julie Sherman Wolf, and so that's gonna be super fun to get a chance to talk with her. Those are the kind of opportunities you get as a patron, so please check it out. And then we have the merch store where we have a whole bunch of new festive designs, including designs about Home Alone, about It's a Wonderful Life, about Die Hard, about all of these classic Christmas movies. So please check it out. And thanks so much, everybody, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.